Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the ProLock part number EWP-290-S. This is a blank door reinforcing wraparound plate. And why would you want a blank one? Well, you've removed the lock, would be a reason. I don't know why this client purchased this one, but I've certainly seen them used to remove a lock. I've seen them used to repair a door. I've seen them used when you want to drill something through this that ProLock does not offer a pre-manufactured solution. I have seen people install these and then place on top of them night latches or rim latches or surface mount Jimmy proof style deadbolts. Okay, so whatever the reason that you're installing it is your reason for installing it. This happens to be a blank one, so be mindful. Any sort of edge prep is going to be something that you'd have to do in the field to accommodate whatever you're working on. That scratched surface there is just the peel away protective film that is covering the satin brushed stainless steel finish. This is all stainless steel. Okay. Now this is a bit uncommon because of its dimensional properties. Not the height, that's 4.5, or the width that is, they call it out at 4 1/4, but it's for the door thickness. It's for an 1 3/8 thick door. Okay. The material thickness, they don't tell us what it is, but it's probably about 25 thousandths. Let's take a look. Oh, way off. About 35 thousandths is what that measures. Okay. Not the thickness being incredibly accurate, but when I pull the paper back, I do get 0.030. So the material is 32nd of an inch thick. That might be about 22 gauge. Let's take a look and see what that actually is in gauge. .030. It's 22 gauge. Okay, so there you go. Well, it's 031 would be 031 would be 22 gauge for stainless steel. My caliper told me .030, so there you go. So you've got a blank item. You know it's for an 1 3/8 door, so be mindful of that. That'll be the first thing that you measure. There is below this video a link to a document called Technical Drawing, where you can review the dimensions that I just went over. You will notice that there are radiused corners here. They give the radius of 1/2 inch. They tell you where the mounting screws are located. Screws are included in a complementary finish. I don't know that they're stainless, okay, or at least they're non-ferrous. I'm going to assume that these are stainless screws. They do appear to be stainless based on the hue of the color. The installation of this, you're going to want to pre-fit this, dry fit this, make sure the door still operates. That's going to be crucial because you don't want to get through the process, of attaching it with the screws and then to discover, oh gosh, my door doesn't close very well, or I've got to put my shoulder into the door to get it to close. I get these on, and then I literally just dry fit. I put it on, and then I do a dry fit run. I'll cycle the door and see what I'm dealing with. If it's typical residential construction, it may not be any big deal at all, because you're really not adding a substantial amount of material thickness. But the truth of the matter is you kind of are, because these 90-degree corners aren't intensely tight on the inside. So the amount of room that this actually is going to take up is not only the thickness of the material, but the fact that that radius, the door is not going to sit exactly flush. It's going to sit up higher in that radius. So you could be consuming 100 thousandths of an inch or 80 thousandths of an inch just by putting this on, which is, a 1/16 of an inch for sure. You might need to mitigate that problem before you install it. You might need to try to draw the door closer to the hinges if you have any margin. You might have to chisel the hinges more deeply to simply move it over. You might need to mortise the entire edge of the door underneath this so that this fits flush with the edge of the door, and that's not a small task. And you'd certainly want to use a router to do that. But you could mortise that so it's utterly flush with the edge of the door and make that completely smooth. That would be a very elegant way of doing it. And if you've got the time and the ability, the skill, the desire, the drive, the motivation to make that as elegant as possible, I would encourage you to do that. Be mindful, this would not be appropriate nor approved to be used on a fire-rated door. It's not listed, it's not labeled. Adding additional fuel to the face of a door, whether it be something that's non-combustible like steel, is not permissible. This is not going to ignite and burn. However, what happens is the door is not designed to have this attached to it if it's a fire-rated door, which it wouldn't be. Well, it could be if it's 1 3/8. They do make. I have sold 1 3/8 fire-rated steel doors. The door wasn't designed to have something that's going to draw this much heat in that area, so just be mindful. This would not be approved for a fire-rated door installation. Now, finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page within our site. And from that page, you're going to be able to review not only all of the ProLock products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. And that full product catalog, there are actually, I believe there are 2. Now, there's more than 2. There's their product catalog, the ProLock 2017 product catalog. That's not where you're going to find this. This item is under their Entry Armor catalog. Entry Armor is what it's called. And that's going to show you all the door reinforcing wraparound plates and other security hardware like latch guards and sliding, swinging window and door hardware. Strike plates, security strikes are there. Other security hardware will be found in that Entry Armor catalog. ProLock is 2 different companies in the sense that what do you need from them? Do you need something that's related to latch guards and door reinforcing and plates and pieces of security hardware for like sliding patio doors? Or are you a locksmith? And I realize it doesn't seem, you expected me to say that possibly, but the name ProLock is synonymous with locksmithing tools. And this is probably under their umbrella of what they sell because their core client is a locksmith. Who gets hired to install these? Yeah, locksmiths. The important thing about ProLock to know about their locksmithing tools, of course, would be their Blue Punch. If you are a locksmith or someone who works, under that titled umbrella, you'll certainly be familiar with that tool. I have owned one for years. The only downside of it is I have found that I've broken the return springs on them a couple of times. And I cut keys, but I'm not cutting 300 keys a day on it. I'm cutting, 5 or 10,000 a year on it. So it's not that many keys. Their template system I've never used. I'm familiar with lock set preparation template systems from ProLock and other manufacturers. I have never used that material because I've either made my own. If you have an understanding of the hardware of the template itself, it's kind of just easy enough to make your own. A lot of locksmiths would certainly disagree with that. They want to have the stuff prepared, ready to go. It's a tool investment that will continue to pay off over time. I understand that logic very well. Having carrying cases is awfully nice. Having things stamped so that they're permanently marked. Having reviewed those installation templates in the past, I would not hesitate to use one. I understand how they work. I would not hesitate to suggest that you consider investing in it at all. And it does, if it's anything like their Blue Punch, it'll be a well-made system. They have their cutters and their latch mortising tools are there as well. An entire lock set installation kit is there. I'm not a fan of multi-spur bits, which is what they use, as do others, for drilling holes. You have to be really careful about how aggressive you run that bit into the face of the door so as to not tear the veneer out. I've done that in the past, and there's no elegant way to get out of that sort of trouble. Anyway, if you have any questions on the Prolock EWP-290-S door reinforcer or any other Prolock product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.